farewell, Kumlik. For while I have fingers to grasp a sword and eyes to see, your treacherous head is not safe on your shoulders.
Interesting facts about famous people.
John Wayne, non-Western, top 10 box office results. Known primarily for his body of work in the Western genre, there was a period of time when Wayne made an effort to try his acting skills in non-Westerns. Some did well, some not so much. In fact, some of his worst movies ever were his non-Westerns. Today we will take a look at his non-Westerns that did best at the box office. If you enjoy this video, hit the notification button to get my new videos. If you want to check out my many other videos, head over to my channel. The link is in the description. Let's get into it. Brannigan, 1975. Box office, 3.8 million. Adjusted, 16.8 million. Jim Brannigan is sent to London to extradite an American mobster. When he arrives, he has been kidnapped, set up by his lawyer. Brannigan, in his American-Irish way, brings American law to Scotland Yard in order to recapture this mobster, with a price on his head and a stuffy old London cop with whom to contend. This movie proved to be one of John Wayne's least successful movies at the box office. Wayne said he would not have made this movie if he had known McHugh, 1974, was only going to be a moderate success. Budget, 2.5 million. Profit, 1.3 million. Sands of Iwo Jima, 1949. Box office, 3.9 million. Adjusted, 188 million. John Wayne earned a 1949 Best Actor Academy Award nomination for one of his most iconic roles, as the battle-hardened leader of a squad of recruits in Alan Duane's Sands of Iwo Jima. Haunted by his personal demons, Marine Sergeant John Stryker is both hated and feared by his men, who sees him as a cold-hearted sadist. But when their boots hit the beaches, they begin to understand the reason for Stryker's rigid form of discipline, as he leads them into one of the most treacherous battles in the Pacific, emotionally gripping, punctuated with intense battle scenes, all bound together by Wayne's larger-than-life performance. Sands of Iwo Jima is the quintessential World War II film. John Wayne turned the film down at first, since at 42 he was rather old for the part, and because he felt the public had had enough of war films. While John Wayne was honoured to be nominated for an Academy Award for this film, he believed the nomination should have been for She Wore a Yellow Ribbon, 1949. Budget, 1 million. Profit, 2.9 million. McHugh, 1974. Box office, 4.1 million. Adjusted, 37.9 million. Police Lieutenant Lon McHugh investigates the killing of his best friend and uncovers corrupt elements of the police department dealing in confiscated drugs. Originally intended as a vehicle for Steve McQueen, it was heavily rewritten for John Wayne. John Wayne formally separated from his third wife, Pilar Wayne, during filming, although they had not lived together since 1967 and never divorced before Wayne's death in 1979. The boat that McHugh lived on actually belonged to John Wayne. Budget, 3.2 million. Profit, 0.9 million. The Conqueror, 1956. Box office, 4.5 million. Adjusted, 155 million. In ancient times, the Mongolian warlord, Temujin, must do battle against the rival tribe that killed his father. The battles pale in comparison with Temujin's home life, as he attempts to woo the heart of the red-headed Tatar prisoner, Borte, whom he has captured in a raid. He must also deal with various intrigues within his palace. Eventually, Borte falls for his manly charms. Temujin defeats his enemies within and without, and is crowned Genghis Khan. The box office failure of this movie was ultimately responsible for the demise of RKO Radio Pictures. John Wayne regretted playing Temujin so much that he visibly shuddered whenever anybody mentioned the film's name. He once remarked that the moral of the film was not to make an ass of yourselves trying to play parts you're not suited for. Budget, 6 million. Profit, minus 1.5 million. In Harm's Way, 1965. Box office, 4.5 million. Adjusted, 72.8 million. On patrol the morning of December 7th, 1941, while commanding a cruiser, Captain Torrey receives word of the attack on Pearl Harbor. His orders are to find the Japanese force and attack it. The film tells the story of three families during the outbreak of World War II. John Wayne was diagnosed with lung cancer in September 1964, shortly after filming ended. He suggested that Kirk Douglas should replace him in The Sons of Katie Elder, 1965, if he did not survive surgery. The naval battle sequences were done with models that were so large in scale for the sake of greater detail that they could be operated from the inside. Budget, 8 million. Profit, minus 3.5 million. The Sea Chase, 1955. Box office, 6 million. Adjusted, 230 million. As the Second World War breaks out, German freighter captain Karl Ehrlich is about to leave Sydney, Australia with his vessel, the Ergenstrasse. Ehrlich, an anti-Nazi but proud German, hopes to outrun or outmaneuver the British warship pursuing him. Aboard his vessel is Elsa Keller, a woman Ehrlich has been ordered to return to Germany safely, along with whatever secrets she carries. When Ehrlich's fiercely Nazi chief officer, Kirchner, commits an atrocity, the British pursuit becomes deadly. This is the last of 4 appearances by James Arness in films starring John Wayne. The others were Big Jim McLean, 1952, Island in the Sky, 1953, and Hondo, 1953. 3 months after this film's release, Arness would begin his 20-year run as Marshal Matt Dillon on Gunsmoke, 1955, a role that Wayne recommended him for. Wayne thought so highly of Arness that he filmed an introduction for the premiere of Gunsmoke in 1959. Arness did not turn up for a scheduled meeting for a role in Wayne's film The Alamo, 1960, and Wayne never really forgave him. Budget, 3 million. Profit, 3 million. Donovan's Reef, 1963. Box office, 6.6 million. Adjusted, 67 million. In an ideal society on a picturesque South Sea island, people of several races and backgrounds live together in harmony. John Wayne is a World War II hero who worked hard to own a shipping company and finds his true love. She is as strong a woman as he is a man. An adventure and love story. When John Ford offered Lee Marvin the role of Gilhooney, he told the actor it didn't matter what the story was, as it would be a good excuse for the cast and crew to have a free holiday in Hawaii. Jack Warden, who played Elizabeth Allen's father, was only 9 years her senior in real life. Budget, 2.6 million. Profit, 4 million. Hatari, 1962. Box office, 7 million. Adjusted, 173 million. Sean Mercer, played by John Wayne, runs a business in East Africa. He and his team capture wild animals for zoos. It is dangerous work. One of his men almost dies after being gored by a rhino. He accepts a request from a photographer to join his business and capture their experiences, but is very surprised and a bit inconvenienced when the photographer turns out to be a woman. However, over time he grows fond of her. Meanwhile, plans to capture certain animals lead to all sorts of plans and adventures. Budget, 6.5 million. Profit, 0.5 million.
Take this one, Pockets. Let's give it a try, Pockets. She's tired.
Lana, are we talking about the same animal?
The High and the Mighty, 1954. Box office, 8.5 million. Adjusted, 234.5 million. On a flight from Hawaii to California, the engine dies on the plane Dan is flying. As he prepares for a crash landing, the passengers reassess their lives. The template for disaster movies with an Oscar-winning score and a cast list that reads like a who's who of 1950s film. Spencer Tracy was originally cast as Dan Roman. He backed out of the film, however, after hearing several negative comments about how strict a disciplinarian director William A. Wellman was. John Wayne's role is largely unscripted, especially in the first half of the film. Nearly all of his performances is conveyed through facial expression. Budget, $1.4 million. Profit, $7.1 million.
Here we go. No, we don't. Get a hold of yourself,
The Green Berets, 1968. Box office, $21.7 million. Adjusted, $128.7 million. US Special Forces troops, Green Berets, under the command of Colonel Mike Kirby, defend a firebase during the Vietnam War. War correspondent George Beckwith accompanies Kirby and objects to both the war and the means in which it is executed. Kirby's firebase is overrun and his troops fight bravely to retake it. Kirby and a select group of his men are then ordered on a special mission to capture a high-level Viet Cong officer. Aldo Ray's alcoholism was a continual problem during filming, to the extent that John Wayne had to give some of Ray's dialogue to other characters. Jim Hutton was against the Vietnam War, although his involvement in this film caused many to mistakenly believe he shared John Wayne's pro-war views. John Wayne said he believed the extremely negative reviews probably helped the film's box office performance. He further said that he felt critics were attacking the war itself rather than his film. Budget, $7 million. Profit, $14.7 million. Here is a bonus movie. I've included this movie as it isn't a Wayne movie per se, as it's really a great ensemble movie with John Wayne. The Longest Day. Box office, $39 million. Adjusted, $434 million. In 1944, the US Army and Allied forces planned a huge invasion landing in Normandy, France. Despite bad weather, General Dwight D. Eisenhower gives the okay and the Allies land at Normandy. General Cormac Cotter travels with his men on Omaha Beach. With much effort and lost life, they get off the beach, travelling deep into French territory. The German military, due to arrogance, ignorance, and a sleeping Adolf Hitler, delay their response to the Allied landing, with crippling results. While clearing a section of the Normandy beach near Pont du Hoc, the crew unearthed a tank that had been buried in the sand since the original invasion. Mechanics cleaned it off, fixed it up, and it was used in the movie as part of the British Tank Regiment. Henry Grace was not an actor when cast as Dwight D. Eisenhower, but his remarkable resemblance to Eisenhower got him the role. Budget, $7.75 million. Profit, $35.6 million. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate your likes and subscribers. Hit the notification button to get my new videos. Take a look at my channel and check out my Facebook page. The links are in the description. I am Wrangler. Bye for now. See you again soon.
Interesting facts about famous people.